Greetings. I welcome you into I Tabernacle, into the sacred room. I do reasoning with I self and meditation, do our writings. I wrote this letter. It's like a love letter. It's not a love letter. Let's see. I don't know if you can see this. To my many brothers from Jessup, Estelle, Atlanta, yes, I did up to 15 years through the federal system, but I is not proud of it. But it's become what we could call almost like a new rites of passage, because it's like it's a cleansing, because then you have to battle with self. You have to find what is your truth outside of the illusions of the streets, when you don't have nothing, no materialistic reality. I mean, there's materialistic things go on in the prisons, but that's when the man must find himself. There's two places where a man finds himself. That's on the battlefield, and that's in prison, which is another form of the battlefield. And many of us have forgot we was on the battlefield. So when loss comes, we ask the question, how can this be? But that's not the topic today. And that topic is what is required of a queen. And the picture I just showed you was an event where a bunch of the brothers were building. You know, we have big ciphers. We have what's called programs, where we all get together and we build, we cipher. You know, speeches and stuff. And one of the biggest topics always in prison is when a brother starts to become conscious, he realizes it's wrong. When he realizes it's wrong, then he's wondering, you know, like, dang, I misled my queen. Because a lot of brothers, when they're in prison, they're like, man, F that B, she ain't nothing. She betrayed me. She done messing with so and so and so and da 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 da. And she don't understand. See, because when they become conscious, they want her to honor him and still ride with him. But when we was on the streets, the only thing we taught the queen was that we said that the image of a man was a hustler, just going to go get money, chasing the streets, living the strip club dream and all this. So what happens when you come into prison, you want the sister to be conscious, loyal. You want her to honor you as a man, but now you don't possess nothing that you showed her that defines a man. So then when she goes and finds her another street dude, you say she ain't nothing. She just a freak chasing dope boys. But really that's all you taught her. So you can't be mad. But see, now the topic was, and this for my brothers and this for my sisters too. And the message is kind of in between, because I have to give this message because there's a lot of brothers after being crucified, assassinated, after their illusions being ripped from them, and they being forced to find themselves in the belly of the prison. They finding themselves, sisters. There's gods that when they left the streets, you knew them as nothing but no good whatevers. But they finding themselves, and they becoming conscious. But many of them are trying to kindle the flames, if that's a good word, with the sisters that they left in the streets. And it seems like there's a conflict they can't bind. Now, I've walked the track with many brothers doing counseling about this. Baby mama dramas. And they saying, I can't bond with the sister. She's not on the time. My mind is now, I'm in a cosmic state, and the sister can't feel me. I'm telling her I ain't coming out to eat no pork chops, and we ain't going to no restaurant to be eating all the fowl and stuff. And the sister can't seem to understand. So sisters, if you a conscious sister, speak to the other sisters. I like what the sister beautiful C. Asia had wrote or did the speak on, and she told the sisters that it's time to seek conscious brothers. I'm not seeking. I'm speaking for the brothers that are awakening. And the only way we're going to have a strong nation and a strong foundation is the sisters and the brothers going to have to find each other. Then we can give birth to our culture. Overstand? Overstand. So in this letter, I put it together in the prison. And many of the brothers took it and they mailed it home to their sisters, to their queens. And they were trying to explain something to them. Trying to have a basis to build on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read it. But I'm going to cipher with you as I read it. And I'm going to ask the sisters for feedback on it. And I'm going to ask the brothers for feedback on it. Because even though I'm saying what is required of a queen, what is required of a king? So it's duality. But I'm speaking for the brothers to the queens. And the queens can take the same topic and relay it to the brothers. A letter to my queen, or a letter to all queens, seeking a conscious man to understand the inner wars we face daily in our lives, trying to find that perfect one, that soulmate. I find this dialogue very important to all. So to my brothers, read or listen. And to my sisters, learn and consider. Pains of a conscious heart are the wars for love. Pains of a conscious heart are wars for love. Now to the gods and the earths, we know that love is 12. The 12th letter of the English alphabet is the letter L. L, being the 12th letter, is 1 and 2 together, which is 12. So we know that knowledge and wisdom must come together. That's love. So to know something and not apply that which you know is not love. But if you know the truth and you apply that which you know, which is wisdom, which is the application of knowledge, then at that point in time you are operating in love. What is required of a queen is the name of this topic. She is required to have true knowledge of self. She's required to be a 17. Knowledge to God. Now, what is knowledge of self? It is not just the fact that we were once African kings and queens, indigenous rulers of the planet. There is so much more. Especially for the woman, she bears the children. She must be a master of this science. She must be a master of this electrical science of this being. Understand the chemistry of feeding the child based on the chemical measures of the brain. She must be a master of the laws of nature and understanding the laws of balance according to the laws of Mott. Let's think. In the so-called beginning, there was only God, the creator, and God created everything. What did God create everything out of? There was nothing but God. So everything was created out of God. This means everything is God. So what happened? Please tell me. Think, my sisters. If everything is God, this is what your mentality must be. And as you raise your child, this must be the mentality that is bred into the child. This must be the mentality that is bred into your child. Now, I speak about this because I know this is a psychic plague. And I stay on this topic. In every cipher, I relate this because this is a main key component in the cipher. So in this part of the letter, it says, did a woman cause the fall? Did a woman cause the fall of a man by eating an apple or whatever they want to say, a fruit or whatever off the tree? If you believe that, then my sisters, you have no knowledge of self. Then you have been brainwashed and your mind is not your mind. And who you think you are is only an illusion. Why is this important? Why is this important? Y'all sisters, tell me. Why is this important? For this is the foundation of your belief. And upon this we build our life on what we think we are. From this we develop our concept of God. And we develop our concept of God and the devil and evil. We develop our concept of what is good and what is bad. Now, if all our concepts are wrong because they're based on a false reality, based on the Adam and Eve story, then this could be the reason, listen sisters, for so much pain. I know you're hurting. I know you are hurting. I know you are suffering. Our sister Dr. Jewel Pookrum explained, she said, a lot of people believe that the secrets of their inner mind, the pain that they suffer, is hidden. But it's written all over them. Their body, you can look at the essence of them, the weight and everything, that this person is in a mental anguish and pain at some point. Something is wrong. The way we eat. So emotionally, sisters, we all in pain. I'm in pain. So, is this the reason we are in so much pain? Why? Because we're swimming against the current of truth. Can you swim? Like, think about it. If you're in the ocean and you're trying to go against the current, you get wore out. You get tired. The current of life is not carrying you. You're going against the current of life. If you're going against the current of life, that means you're swimming to death. So if you're dying, you feel yourself slowly dying. That's your pain. That's a mental anguish. So if you built your house, your life on these sands of falsehood, what would happen when the rains of truth come? Which the rains of truth come every day. That's the current of life, the cosmic flow. How important it is to have the knowledge of self. And our ancestors told us, know thyself. When we spend our whole life missing life because we haven't seen life, because we can't see the forest because of the trees. You have missed your whole life. You have suffered all life. You have suffered all your life. And all the people around you, aunties, uncles, sisters, brothers, friends, were suffering too. And they did the same thing as everybody else. They played it off like it's normal. So it confuses you. So you operate in what is considered the norm, but yet it is a sickness. It is what, as Dr. Jewel always puts, dis-ease, meaning you are not at ease, you're not at peace, meaning you're in dis, meaning you're not. Disease, sickness. So we bred mental sickness, which bred physical sickness, because the thoughts produce chemical reactions in the body that then become a living reality, which we operated on, taught our children to operate on, and many of us are children of parents, grandparents that have operated in this. So we operated in the sickness, and then we wondered all our life why we never had our peace. So everyone was swimming against the current, and they were drowning. Because after you swim against the current for so long and your body becomes wore down, you start to drown. And everyone was drowning. So what does a drowning person do when somebody else swims next to them? They grab them to hold on. So everybody starts drowning each other. For without true knowledge of self, then life is a very deep ocean with a very powerful current that can drown a soul. Only you can kill your soul. I see your soul dying, my sisters, my brothers. When the soul starts drowning and feels death on it, it then begins to destroy its attacker, the body, the mental. Bipolar. People say they, well, I'm going bipolar. I'm just bipolar. You in an internal inner war. Let me give you an example here so we can kind of get a better understanding too, so we get this. This is a lesson, very important lesson, brothers and sisters. For those that know the lesson, when we draw the house and we put the triangle on top of the square, and we say that the triangle represents three higher bodies: the mind, the soul, and the spirit. And then you have the physical nature, which is the 4, which is under 3, which is the 7 bodies. The mind is a mirror unto the soul. Think now. The soul looks down into the mind. It's just an example. And looks at the reflection in the mind. Whatever the mind is reflecting, whatever vision that the mind is given, the soul adapts this as its image and its likeness. All is mind. The law of mentalism. Khemetic. Understand the science. So the soul looks into the mind, and the soul believes that this is its reality. So if your mind is confused, if your mind accepts the illusion of its undivine nature, then the soul takes on this reflection. So the soul then is cut off from its highest frequency, which we will call the spirit. So the soul, right? Let's say the soul is the woman, Sophia. And the spirit would be, like the Christians try to put it, the father. So the father and Sophia, Pista Sophia, supposed to come together as one. That's the soulmates, spirit and soul. That's why I see some people, how you can separate the soul from the spirit? I don't understand that. That don't make no common sense, because they're not separate. But the frequency based on the mental state stops this love union, because knowledge and wisdom must be for there to be life. Because knowledge is to know, but wisdom is the operation of it. So that's the motion, that's the mother, that's the universe, that's Mother Nature. But when the soul accepts the vision of the mind as a lower being, then the soul is cut off from its spiritual paradise or its cosmic reality. So then your soul is without its soulmate. So then you start to feel the void within your being. You start to feel empty. So at that point in time, you need to grab hold of something because the spiraling ocean that you're in appears to be drowning you. I don't know if that was clear for some of you. So the soul starts drowning or feels death. So rather than the soul perish in the illusion of the mind, the soul will cause certain reactions in the body that will cause the body to dispose of its own illusion. And if the body is so attached to the illusion, the mental, if the mental has created the body's attachment to such an illusion, this is where we get most of our disease, because we had disease in a war. The body gets destroyed. The body gets destroyed. So that's just some science. But let me get back to this real basic topic. So now when the soul is dying and the soul starts drowning and feels death on it, it begins to destroy its attack of the body. My sisters, because of this science that's going on in you, it might not be clear to you. That means you're carrying a lot of bags of weight. Remember, we in some cosmic fluid. So if you're carrying bags of weight, bags of pain, bags of energy that's burning you down, then you start drowning. Because like if you're in the ocean and you got a whole bag full of rocks on you, you'll drown out here. Like Erykah Badu's song. It says, "Bag lady, you are drowning." The war of your soul. I know you feel that this reality of the war of your soul. But you use excuses not to face the giant. You know, we all talk about David and Goliath because of the Bible. The little person facing the thing. But David means beloved. But the beloved of God, or the beloved of Allah, the beloved of the Creator, the beloved Miriamun, that's beloved of Amun. See? Beloved of God, Miriamun, the Mary. Right? The Miriam, the physical nature, those who understand the science, this reality, has to face the giant. But we won't face the giant. Because when we have traveled through life without knowledge of self, we created illusions. We call this the onion. Meaning, in the core of the onion when you was a child, and then you started creating your first illusions because of pain. And then you created other illusions because of pain. And you keep creating illusions because of pain, till after a while, you got this onion, you got all these layers and layers and layers of illusions on yourself. Now, if you try to peel back that's a lot of crying gonna happen. When you peel an onion, you'll get a lot of crying, because you're peeling back the illusions of yourself. So when we tell people to face the giant, they got to face the layers of they self. Because that's why the giant, the end of the word, the root word of giant is A-N-T, ant. So we've created all these coverings, and these coverings we created as defense. Because every time you create an illusion of yourself, it's a defense mechanism physically and mentally, to not have to deal with a pain. But all of these pains is because we don't understand life. And we develop these pains because we're swimming against the cosmic truth of life. So now let me give you an example. Pain. Key factor here for the cipherers. Pain is the tree of good and evil. The tree of good and evil. Can't see the forest because of the trees. The forest is life, but the pains block your vision from life. The forest is life, but the pain blocks your vision of life. But the pain is life. It is the lesson of life. So when we start to face these things, then you are made naked and you become ashamed. See? Or when you don't have knowledge of life or knowledge of self, you feel naked and ashamed. So you seek more covering. Adam and Eve. Now life becomes a cat and mouse game. The cat running from his own tail. The mouse running from the shadows of light. The shadows of light. In and out of our dark hiding places, we run for protection. In and out of our dark hiding places. Dark means our places where we can't see. We can't see life. Now let me explain this to you because I gave you mathematics in the beginning. 1 is knowledge and 2 is wisdom. This is 12, which is love. When knowledge and wisdom come together, that's A. 1 is A and 2 is B. They produce the letter C. So that means C is to be able to see. 1 plus 2 plus 3, equality. Or 1 and 2 produce the sun, or produce the star, or produce the child. They produce the letter C, A, B, C. That's your ABCs. And C means being able to see. But if you have no knowledge of self, then you will never apply it. So if you never apply it, then you will never see. So you can't see the forest because of the trees. You can't see. So you in darkness. Running in and out of your dark hiding places. And when somebody brings you a little light, you run from it. And so through this, our pains then become our fears. And our fears gain power. And they become the giants and the mountains in our lives. So when they become the giants and the mountains in our lives, then we have to face these things. But the mouse running in and out of the little holes, the small mind, says they are afraid of being cornered in, so they run from it back into their holes in darkness. Cornered. I use the word corner because a lot of people say I ain't getting cornered, and you don't corner me into that stuff there, and I can't find my way out of that truth. You know, that's that black magic stuff, and you get so deep in it you get lost. Small mind doesn't understand. To my morals, they don't understand that they are the navigator of all star coordinates. Remember, the star is the 5, so mind. The number 5 is the number of mind. So the small mind says they're afraid. They won't accept the truth of self because they are afraid of being cornered into facing their self. They have become so complacent in their position, they claim this is just the way life is. They have forgotten their true God self. And they don't understand that their God self is a creator. Oh. Now when you tell somebody that, they get mad. So you mean to tell me I created all my pains, all my suffering? But y'all say the black, the white man did all this stuff and mess up. No, your acceptance of the definitions of self manifested the perpetual chain to keep you bound to the illusions that was created through enslavement, or created through invasions, created through miseducation of the black, of the indigenous, of the Moor, of the Hebrew Israelite, of the Khemetic, of the Abyssinian. So when you tell them that they created their pains, will be too much for most people because they can't wrap their mind around this. They created a painful reality. Why would they do that to themselves? This is what most people say. Think, everyone around you is operating in blindness of the truth. And everyone is drowning each other to stay above water. But we live life like this and the ways of the world as it has been defined in this way. So we help create this matrix, this paradise, this land of vampires. The true nature of ourself we have fallen from. For that reason, we do not reflect our image in the mirror of life. So life gives you just that, nothing. And the devil gives you nothing. And why do they love the devil? Because he gives them nothing. But the devil is lived spelled backwards. What once lived? And nothing is just death. Only you can kill your soul. The pyramids were created just for this reason, brothers and sisters. They were left to testify to the world of our original nature before the invasions of the fallen ones. The prophecy of all our religions is not about a man coming out of the sky, but about this nature of self returning to the remnant. But nature is a work that must be performed. For faith without works is dead. Let me say that again. Nature is a work that must be performed. For faith without works is dead. The bride in the Bible, New Jerusalem, the new you, that must make self ready. The bride must make herself ready. But many refuse to accept this reality of works. If you look at the root word of giant, you see it as an ant. The matters of the mind are simple like the ant. But like the ant, it requires you to work. And Solomon says, study the ant. My sisters, you must not refuse to work, to untie the knots in the unbiblical code. When you do this, see, when you do this, when you untie these knots, you come to the I am that I am. The I am that I am. But if you refuse to do this, you will never know the I am that I am. Sisters, I is calling unto you to take off your shoes, your coverings. You are holy ground. You must walk in your own true nature. Are you afraid to tell the Pharaoh, the ruler of your thoughts? I'm using biblical symbology because many people only understand the symbology based on Bible, because if I use Heru, if I use the Heru and the Set, or if I use the science of Anubis, many sisters and brothers won't understand the parables or the symbology in this. So I'm using biblical symbology to help you cipher the unbiblical cord. Because the umbilical cord, remember when the baby is born, they have an umbilical cord, something to give them nutrients. So you're still a baby, but the umbilical cord is standard, but you have to be able to accept the nutrients coming through it. But if you tie it in a knot, then you won't get no nutrients. You'll be a baby in the womb that will abort self. So I'm trying to help you from aborting yourself. Are you afraid to tell the Pharaoh, the ruler of your thoughts, whose name is fear, to let your thoughts go? To save this life, you must lose this life, or the illusions you now call life. Black men and women, you must seek liberation in this time. And spiritual liberation is mental liberation. Our souls are still on the plantation of torture. Our souls are still on the plantation of torture. You are torturing your souls by the illusions of your mind. Remember in the Bible it says, and the things that they did on earth reached up into the heavens. When a king begins to strive on the path of change, when a brother begins to strive on the path of change, to wake up to conscious reality, will the queen and him be able to unite if she will not be conscious too? Now, if a queen seeks to be conscious, can her and a king unite when the brother doesn't seek to be conscious? Polarity, duality. Can a drowning person drown a lifeguard? Yes. So when she is not, she would drown him or he would drown her. And I just said lifeguard, but can a drowning person drown another person who's swimming pretty all right? So if you swimming all right and you go up to a drowning person, you know you ain't no professional real swimmer, but you guarding your own life. And a drowning person grabs, can they drown you? So a king wants a queen that will trust him enough to uncover herself to him. Remove her veils. Remove her pain. Open her heart up. Allow him to share true love, knowledge, and wisdom. The expression of love that wants to heal a soul. A queen wants a king that will trust her enough to uncover himself, remove his veils, and allow her to share true love with him. But the king or the queen must want to be healed and be willing to change. If not, how can a king or a queen be happy with a dying soul? So if a brother's waking up and he becoming conscious, sisters, and you still wanting that street dude back to chase the steaks and the lobsters and eat the foolish foods, you still want the dude to take you out and y'all get drunk and play the flodge game and go, you know, just be on your little crazy missions that have no meaning, to feed the ego. And you still want this brother, see, you want this brother to, see, this brother done become conscious of what is living and what is dead. And it's hard for him, even though his spiritual essence wants to love you, his being wants to love you, it's hard for a person to love a dying soul. See, y'all become in conflict because he's going to try to stop you from dying, so it appears that your relationship is in war. Or the sister is trying to call the brother to wake up, and when she's trying to tell him to wake up, it appears they're in war, and the brother thinks the sister nagging him. If a conscious mind seeks a soul that will not drown them. Do you understand that? A conscious mind seeks a soul that will not drown them. As a queen, are you willing to learn to swim? So queens, you can go to your king and you say, brother, are you willing to learn to swim in this cosmic fluid? Let us look at this thing this way. All is God and God is love. So the potential for love is in everyone and can be shared with everyone. Love is not limited, or that would make God limited. So now to define a relationship love, we must relearn our true nature, or our relationships will only be pain and drowning. Let me say that again. So now to define a relationship love, we must relearn our true nature, or our relationships will only be only pain and drowning. See, because if you live in an illusion, you swimming against the truth, see, y'all drowning. So if you drowning and you grab hold of them, you drowning, they drowning you, see, y'all drowning. Now if you becoming conscious and they still drowning, they grabbing you, they starting to drown you. So now if your relationship person ain't trying to be conscious and they grabbing hold of you and they pulling you down, they drowning you, but you don't want to drown. Because a man loves a woman, we think that is enough. People fall in and out of love every day. And people say, how come? How could you just leave her? You ain't been through with her but 3 months. Or he ain't been through with you but 3 months and you already done found somebody? How can you love someone today and tomorrow another? Souls love souls. Think about it, people. Souls love souls because we naturally one. That is their nature. Souls love souls. That is their nature. But to be united as one is different. Souls love souls. But to be united as one is different. To unite, this must be done in spirit. But if there is one rising, if one of you is rising and the other is drowning, how can they unite as one? Now he or she may love the other, you may love them, but unity will be war. So now our relationships are war because everybody drowning. And then the sister gets mad because you ain't saving her. She feels she drowning. Y'all got this relationship. You working a job. You paying a little money. But still something missing. You got the sister when she your queen or y'all down together. But still something missing. Both of y'all still drowning. You ain't spiritually bound. Y'all ain't spiritually coming to consciousness. So because of this, you still feel something wrong. So you got to go out and seek another queen. She got to go out and cheat on you and find another king. Because she's trying to find answers to life. You trying to find answers to life. Y'all don't really hate each other. Y'all really don't love. Y'all drowning. So to unite and be as one, see, y'all got this inner war going on. It's just something wrong. For two drowning people never are in harmony. Have you ever seen two drowning people? How they going to be in harmony? They going to have a natural harmony of pulling each other down, trying to stay above. There will be no natural harmony. And if one seeks to rise above the giants, above their drowning state, and the other will not, they will begin to hate the other for drowning them. So when sisters become conscious and the brother won't become conscious, the sister starts to hate the brother because he won't let her rise. Or when a brother starts to become conscious and the sister don't want to become conscious, see, eventually if they hold on to you, eventually they're going to hate you because you held them down into the waters and drowned them. This is defined as the wandering soul seeking help. So when they start getting this feeling that you're trying to drown them, they start reaching out. We call this cheating. Trying to feel better. Trying to find an answer. Trying to get that ultimate orgasmic pleasure that maybe will get the mind back into balance. Thinking maybe the better body or this or that gonna help it. But this is an internal inner war. And without the true knowledge of self, our relationships are doomed. Now the question is, as a king or queen's knowledge of self increases, can you unite with the king or queen that will not seek the same truth in life? As a king, the knowledge of self is the greatest love to give to a queen. For this love is only to heal her and give her soul peace from the torture it has suffered all these years. It is teaching your queen to swim, how to fly, how to heal herself. Many will say they do not have time to learn to change because of the rigorousness of life to survive. What is more rigorous or more concerning than living in pain? So to my queens, a true king will seek to give you knowledge of self, to help you heal yourself, to help your soul find peace from the torture it has suffered all these years of your life. If he is not willing to give this to you, then my sister, find that soul that will. Do not become trapped in the illusions of what we thought was love. Haile Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, power of the Holy Trinity, the unification of King Alpha, Queen Omega, Father Time, Mother Nature, the divine unity between creation and the Creator, the Asar and the Aset, producing the Heru, the hero of consciousness, liberation. Jah Rastafari. Blessed, and I hope that this discussion or this topic gave you some enlightenment. I know I may have went off of the topic a little bit, but I hope that you found some vibrations in this truth. Jah bless. Haile Selassie.